Hello and welcome to the final episode of Dialogues on the Art of Arab Fashion in collaboration with the Office of Public and Cultural Diplomacy at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation in Abu Dhabi for our final session, Threading SDGs and the Art of Dress. I am Emma Farmer and will be your MC for today's webinar. The format of today's talk will be approximately 50 minutes of discussion followed by Q&A from you, the audiences. Please feel free to ask us questions via the Zoom Q&A function. For those joining for the first time, the Zay Initiative was founded to preserve the cultural heritage of Arab dress through the collection, documentation, and digital archiving of Arab historical attire and their stories. The goal is to empower and sustain global cross-cultural dialogues. Anyway, that is enough from me. Allow me to introduce you to our founder, Dr. Reem Mutwalli, your host for today's session, who will introduce you to our guests. Dr. Reem.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another session. We're getting close to the holidays, and I wanted to wish everyone a wonderful time this holiday. And today I have two young ladies. One is joining us from Norway. The other one is joining us from Greece. And I'm so excited to introduce them to you. And I'm going to try what we tried last time and to allow them to do the introduction themselves. So welcome Eman and welcome Heba. Let's start with Eman. Can you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Hello, Doctora.
Hi.
First of all, I want to thank you, Doctor, for this invitation. I am Eman Zayoudi, Chargé d'Affaires in our UAE embassy in Greece. I have been here since almost a year and a half. I'm mother for 4 kids, and that's all.
You graduated from?
I'm graduate from United Arab Emirates University in Al Ain. I have baccalaureate in political science and economic. It's the major is the political science and the minor is the economist. So I have little bit of the politics and the economist.
Wonderful, wonderful. And Heba, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yes, hi. Hi, everybody. I'm Heba Aljneibi, a councillor at UAE Embassy in Norway. I graduated 2004 from United Arab Emirates University. I have bachelor degree in political science from United Arab Emirates University and master degree in international relations from Zayoudi University as well. I am the first female diplomat in London. I started 2009 until 2012, and also I am the first diplomat in Norway as well. And let's make it short, and that's it.
I'm so proud to have you both there. I think you are doing a great job representing your country, and you make us all proud, really. Today we are going to be speaking about a very interesting and to many very complicated topic, but I am sure that between the three of us, we can introduce it in a lively and exciting way to our audience. And we will carry it in a dialogue format, so I hope that we will enjoy it as much as everyone else that is joining us. To start with Eman, I was hoping that you would help me introduce the concept of SDGs to our audience.
The Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, also known as the Global Agenda 2030, are the collection of 17 goals and aim to eliminate poverty, protect the plants, ensure human security, welfare, and well-being. The SDGs were set in 2015 by the United Nations General Assembly are the international to be achieved by year 2030. The UAE has been at the front of sustainable development. All 6 national priorities which define the UAE National Agenda Vision 2021 are linked to SDGs. In order to implement the goals of the UAE Cabinet established the National Committee of SDG as institutional frameworks, which seeks elegant SDGs with the UAE development agenda.
Wonderful, wonderful. And in simple format, it is basically an agreed format between all nations in order to achieve specific goals by the year 2030, correct? And most of the UN member countries have agreed to work their way towards that. And we at the Zay Initiative, in our small and simple way, have identified a number of these goals that work within the mission, the overall mission that we have at the Zay Initiative. And today I thought maybe, because we cannot speak about 17 goals, they are way too many to cover in one session. So we identified 4 of these goals that we could talk about that relate both to the UAE and how UAE has developed in that area, as well as how we at the Zay Initiative on a much smaller and simpler level managed to string along and try and do our part in this objective. And to start with, I thought we would begin by introducing what the Zay Initiative is all about. Can we have the next slide, Emma? It is based on a collection, and this collection has managed to grow within the past 2 years. And from it stemmed a number of sub-goals that we are identifying and linking to these SDGs that are happening all over the world. So a basic dress collection, and as you see, from one's dress, one can surmise so many different things. And I'm sure we will get to the next slide in order to see how you two have been able to develop this and how you have been participating through your dress in representing your identity, your country, your heritage, and so on and so forth. We at the Zay Initiative took this and took it further one more step by trying to establish ways that we can connect with the globally with everyone else in order to sustain Arab culture through its dress heritage. I know, Eman, that you in particular, you both of you actually, and we'll start with you, Eman, you've practiced wearing the UAE national dress. Can you paint a picture on what we're seeing here? Eman, can you hear me?
Yes, Doctora. Those are the pictures. One of them is from our National Day, the 49, and the other one that from the exhibition of the to show our culture, our clothes, our lifestyle as a Emirati society for the Greek. It's not an easy because, Doctora. I might be the first Chargé d'affaires from the Gulf as a female Chargé d'affaires, and I want to take the opportunity to show my culture. The Greek are really interested in our culture. They want to know more. Since I came to Greece, I faced one of the brokers. She's a broker for a house, and she asked me exactly where's the black dress.
Yeah.
I understand what she wants, but I told her why you take the view of the black dress. She told me because I didn't go out of Greece, and you are the first lady to sew from the Gulf, and you are wearing like colorful dresses, like a normal one. I told her, to be honest, it's kind of respect to wear the black, but my culture is full of colors. It's full of luxury goods. It's full of woman empowerment, woman respect. It's not like what you are seeing in the TV, like wearing black and black and stay at home. And she was saying it's first time for me to see a lady from the Gulf, and I think I am really shocked. She was shocked. This give me the power to show my culture. They have to know more about us. It's not an easy thing, but it's our job as diplomats to show the others how is the UAE, how the lady in the UAE, to change their point of view in our society. It's full of luxury things. It's full of gods. It's full of colors. It's full of woman empowerment. It's not something that when we sit at home and wearing black and black everywhere. It's not like that. That gives me the power to take any chance to express my culture, to wherever I have exhibition, I talk my things, the cultural things, and I go there to present my culture. And a very interesting way of attracting them to take the kids.
Yes.
They asked to take a photos with the kids. They were like, "Oh, is your kids wearing that?" I told them, yes, it's our lifestyle. Even now, we are not faking this only to show you. No, it's the UAE. We are full of colors. We are full of luxurious things. We're respecting the women, and this is what we are.
Yes, it's wonderful. And I commend you for the work that you're doing, both through your position and through involving your children, because you're installing in them to be proud of their heritage and to represent their heritage, as well as presenting ways for people from other societies to get to know and learn about your own culture. And I think, Heba, you too, we prepared another slide here and that shows Heba also practicing the same thing. And I thought maybe you could give us a few thoughts about your experience in wearing your national dress.
Well, my experience, doctor, that I would like to ensure that the national dress more attraction than the suits and the official events here. And you can see this picture with Foreign Minister Suraida and the Norwegian National Day in May 2 years ago. And she was really impressed by my abaya. And you can see the pearl, that one of the traditional pieces that we've got. She was so
and I love also your green, green, my favorite color, your green mzarrai, which is the gilded kandora that you were wearing in the other one.
Yeah, this one, when I was Chargé d'Affaires for a long time, here almost 1 year and a half, our National Day 47, I remember one of the European ambassadors, the first comment that I got, Heba, you set a life example for women empowerment. When you give your speech, when you highlight the UAE efforts and the achievements that have been done by UAE, thank God, we are away comparing to other countries. I just would like to tell you that Norway, #1 in women empowerment, and when they see me representing UAE in many of the events or seminars, wherever I go, I felt how they are impressed by UAE women empowerment, just being a diplomat in such country.
That's so wonderful. You really make us feel very proud, and you are a great example of this, what this country is aspiring to do on all levels, and on many levels as well. Just to take us back to our main subject, as we just mentioned, there are 17 Sustainable Development Goals that were adopted by all UN nation member states in 2015, and that took place in Paris, as a universal call to action to end poverty, to protect the planet, and to ensure that all people enjoy peace and prosperity by 2030. I wanted to highlight that we at the Zay Initiative are particularly aligned with 4 of these SDGs that you see in front of you. And we are going to begin now to illustrate together how both the UAE and the Zay Initiative are aligned in developing these. And we will start with number 4, which is, I think Heba is going to help me with this.
Yes, sure, Doctor.
Please go ahead, Heba.
Well, I would like to start that late Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, may God mercy his soul, said the greatest use that can be made of wealth is to invest in creating generations of educated and trained people. Accordingly, the UAE's Ministry of Education developed Education 2020 strategy, and the key area of focus has been to transform K-12 programs to ensure that students are fully prepared to attend universities around the world and compete in the global marketplace. Also, the UAE is a signatory on the UN's Convention on the Right of Person with Disabilities and the Optional Protocol, and accordingly, the MOE's strategies has adopted all public schools and to facilitate education for people of determination. Which ensures that they have access to the same educational opportunities as students in the regular education system. The UAE has ensured that education is available to all ages and both genders. And today, literacy rates for both genders are close to 95% in UAE.
Amazing.
UAE hosts the Regional Center for Educational Planning, UNESCO, which is the technical arm of the UAE's Ministry of Education that responsible for building individual capacities, developing human resources and knowledge in the areas of planning and policies to fulfill national priority in line with the international best practices. Finally, the UAE provides free education to UAE citizens in public schools. The UAE hosts a wide range of highly accredited universities, both public and private, including NYU Abu Dhabi and Sorbonne Abu Dhabi. And thank you.
Very, very, very true. That's so wonderful, Heba. And I think that the Zay Initiative has followed in the footsteps of all these goals and aspirations. We at the Zay Initiative have managed to produce a number of publications that relate to UAE culture, be it on an architectural level or as far as the Zay Initiative is concerned, the dress and women's heritage and culture. And we have managed to also create educational books for the children based on these basic publications that we have created. And I'm very proud to say we even managed to produce one, which was the Qasr al-Hassan one in Braille, which was the first book to be published in Braille from an Arabic library within the area. And it had a great success, and I think it's being used all around through different institutions that require it. We also have managed to work hard on a digital platform. And this digital platform I'm very proud of, because although we started collecting articles and documenting and researching the information that is related to these articles from all around the Arab world, as well as the United Arab Emirates, we managed to produce a digital archive, and it happens to work with the situation. I mean, COVID happened by chance. We were already starting our research and development part of this digital archive, and we launched it within the COVID year, and it worked to our advantage. And I thought I would produce a small video clip that teaches people or introduces the audience to what is the digital archive and how they can navigate through it. So if you permit me, I'm going to show this small clip and we can watch it all together.
Yes, please.
Navigate. Oh, I guess we're not going to watch the clip. How are we doing, Emma?
Navigating to the Zay Initiative is very simple. Just type thezay.org. You will arrive at our homepage, from where you can explore. And to see our dress and adornment collection, click Collection. From here, scroll down to see the different articles. If you want to learn more, click View Details. You will need to create an account if you haven't already. But once you have logged in, the world of Arab dress awaits you. Every article includes detailed imagery of each piece. Sometimes it will include the photographs of those who once owned it or wore it. The information on the right of these images presents a brief introduction. Clicking on the image will enlarge it for more details. Others will include video clips with further explanations when possible. Underneath the images is an in-depth study of the article, including the tangible and the intangible. You will notice some words are in red. Point your mouse over them, and you can view the definition of that item. If you prefer to view in Arabic, click at the top right-hand corner. Here, you can navigate again in the same manner, where you will find all the information, as well as the pop-up glossary terms in Arabic. If you want to go to more detail, where possible, we include suggestions of additional reading material, including links to our blog and other websites. We are working very hard on making our full and constantly growing collection of over 1,350 pieces available online for everyone to explore. We aim to become the most reliable guide to Arab dress and adornment in the world. And we look to you all to help us sustain the legacy.
So as you see, it's a colossal amount of work. It is very much academically grounded, and it requires a lot of background information and research from different scholars and researchers in both Arabic and English. And it is the first one of its kind to be presented from the Arab world to introduce this sort of culture. Another aspect that we are carrying through the Zay Initiative is a scholarship program, which we are hoping to launch within the coming 2021, whereby we are trying to encourage those, especially women, who are in the area between jobs or starting from university, going into the job station, whereby they can work to help sustain their overall experience as well as resources. And we're hoping that people who are interested in this field will come forward and apply to these scholarship programs that we are presenting to them. On the other hand, Eman, you are going to help me here in introducing the second goal that we were talking about, or the third. Are we in the third one now? I'm lost. But go ahead, Eman, please.
Yes, Victoria. Gender equality is one of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. UAE's 2021 vision is linked to the Sustainable Development Goal. In this framework, the strategy for the empowerment of Emirati women 2015-2021 has supported the advancement of women education, health, economic opportunities, political participation, and gender-balanced lawmaking for 5 successful years. Following our father's vision, Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan, today we achieved that the UAE ranked 35 out of 189 countries in women empowerment. According to the 2019 Human Development Report commissioned by the United Nations Development Programme. Further, the Economic Forum 2020 Global Gender Gap reports state that the UAE is one of the region's best performance countries, having closed the gender gap by 66%. It's worth mentioning that the Emirati women makes up 60% of the country's total UAE National University graduates and 43% of the UAE national workforce. According to the presidential decree announced in 2018, 50% of Federal National Council selected members should be women. Doctora, I think all of the ladies from the UAE are proud to be from the UAE because of our wisdom leadership. We don't get promises as women. we get actions from our leaderships. They don't promise us to give us the power. No, they support us, and they just give us equipment, and they give us anything we want. Just the tools, to show up the Emirati woman. And really, we are lucky to have this wisdom leaderships.
Yes, I totally agree. And that is why through the Zay Initiative, we try to play an integral part, even if it's on a small level, by recording these achievements of these women, by putting it down in a documented form so that it is available for the next future. If I may show the next slide, I will illustrate that with a simple fact. I mean, look at this object, which is a gold object. I'm sure you both know it. It's called ftaq, which is the ring that a woman would wear on her toe. And it's one of the very traditional gold pieces that women wear in the United Arab Emirates. And this ftaq belonged to the lady that you have shown here in the image. Sadly, she passed away a year ago. And she was a burqa maker. She spent most of her life making those burqas that you see the samples of. And she made them for the Al Maktoum family. I was very lucky to meet with her because her daughter identified her. As a form of celebration of her mother, she contacted us and she said, I have only one ftaq, not two, because usually women wear two of them, yani it's a pair. But she had one and she said, would you accept it as something that would remind people of my mother and tell her story? And we were very excited to go and meet this lady. I was privileged that I met her, although she was in bed and she was very old and very thin and in the last year of her life. But it was a pleasure to meet with her, to talk with her, to record her story. And now we have these objects from her that people are going to be able to see, experience, learn about through the digital archive that we have. They don't have to come here to see it in an exhibition, although we do participate in many exhibitions. But those who can't reach us now, they can see it through the digital archive and be able to learn about this woman. And this woman's story will stay behind even after when I or you or all our generation will go. So her life and her story and her legacy will continue, hopefully through this initiative that we're starting to work on, which is such a wonderful aspect. And it touches people's lives very, very simply, but effectively. And I prepared another example for you in the next slide. This is a wonderful, wonderful story. And before I show you the clip about it, I wanted to just prepare you to it. This is an image that I saw one day as I was looking through the newspapers and researching, and it is of young ladies and one young man, mashallah alayh, Zayed bin Nahyan al-Nahyan, and his cousins. And they were photographed during a festive occasion with His Highness Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed, the President of the United Arab Emirates. And I was so excited to see the young girls dressed in their national dress. So I called their mother, who's a very good friend of mine, Moza bint Muhammad bin Khalid Al Nahyan. And I said, Moza, I really want the dress that Hamda's wearing, the young girl on the right. And she said, what are you talking about, Doctora? Hamda is now around 20 years old. This was taken about 7 or 8 or 9 years ago. She was just a child. What am I going to do? How am I going to get this dress? And I said, no, we have to keep it. It is the only image that I can find with these beautiful young girls with Sheikh Khalifa. And this is a very important image. I must have this dress. So they went back and they looked around and they asked around and they located the dress that they had given away to somebody who lives all the way in Morocco. And they had to send for it and ask for that dress and have it brought back. And now it is part of this collection at the Zay collection. So imagine, yani, this article of clothing went from one place to the other, and then we had it brought back just because of an image. Isn't that an amazing story? So I'm going to show you now a clip about this dress to tell you more about it.
The Zay Initiative presents the Thob Kandora Miazza, made in 2011. This dress was spotted by Dr. Reem Mutwalli in this rare photo taken when the UAE President Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan was visited by his nephew and a group of his nieces as they paid their respects during Eid celebrations in 2011. Worn by Sheikh Hamda bint Hazza' bin Tahnoon bin Muhammad Al Nahyan, age 7 then, it was later donated by her mother, Sheikha Moza bint Muhammad bin Khalid Al Nahyan, to the Zay collection. This type of combined overgarment and tunic, Thob Kandora, evolved post-1990s as a 2-in-1 special occasion dress. This example is made from panels, Miazza'. Traditionally, the paneling evolved out of frugality, when garments were made from several pieces of expensive leftover fabrics. Over time, it came to be recognized as a style in itself called Miazza', from the Arabic word mjazza', which means paneled. This garment is machine embroidered in gold metallic thread zari with arabesque motifs. The embroidery accentuates the neckline's central axis and paneling joints, as well as sleeve cuffs of the inner tunic. The embroidery is then further accentuated with royal purple, grass green, and deep red Swarovski crystal iron-ons, fusus. The Zay Initiative, an ode to the past.
I think it's wonderful that even especially the older generation, are very much tuned with the necessity and the need for us to preserve heritage and culture, and they play a very instrumental role in doing so. This is another example that I wanted to show here that exemplifies how we as a nation, as an Arab nation as a whole, as well as in the UAE, scent is very important to us. ريحة هلي يقولون بالعربي. So it's very important that our scent, it means so much to us. And this is a dress that we received from another donation. And it was also a young lady like yourselves who wanted to keep the memory of her grandmother who had passed away in the 90s. I haven't met this lady, but I met her granddaughter who saved this kandora, which was embroidered in silver. And these are very rare to find in these days. And she called me up and I met with her and we became friends. And she said, I have one condition. I will give you my grandmother's kandora if you promise me that you will not separate it from her scent. And she gave us a small vial, which you see in the picture there, which has the perfume of her grandmother, so that her grandmother's scent will always stay with her dress, which I think is such a wonderful, wonderful expression of love and gratitude, and a way of sustaining the memory of that generation that came before. Because these women are the ones who empowered the likes of you and enabled you to lead in the positions that you are leading in. I hope you agree with me.
Well, Doctora, I totally agree with you. I remember my grandmother, she got a mandous full of her stuff, either the same kandura that you presented or burga, and she used to make her own dresses by herself. And until today, I still remember. She passed away long time ago. I still remember her perfumes. When she used to mix the perfume, you know, oud with musk, with za'faran, and many scents that still has a very touch memories very close memories to my heart.
Very true. And speaking of women empowerment, we took this a step further at the Zay Initiative, and we created this past year, we worked on an exhibition called Draped in Heritage, whereby we took items from our collection. And as you see here, you see burqa, shela, thob, kandora, sarwal. Each one of them comes from a different lady and is part of the Zay collection. And we took this and we went to we identified 20, because we are in the year 2020, we identified 20 trailblazing women from the UAE. This is one of them, Sheikh Latifa Al Maktoum. She's an Olympic jumper, show jumper, and she wore this to empower her, to show how she is empowered in her heritage while she is performing the deed that she is doing. And to carry it further, if I show the next slide, Eman, you spoke about empowering Special Olympics. This is Sheikha bint Sultan Al-Qasimi, and she is a member of that team. And she is one of those amazing young ladies who is trying to present or trying to transcend all the obstacles that life can provide to a person. And the third example that I wanted to show is this one, which is of a ballerina. And not many people, I mean, if people were shocked because they saw you wearing colors, Eman, I wonder what would they think when they see a ballerina from the UAE. Again, we put an old lady's thobe on her and we videoed her performing, and I wanted to show this small clip of that. I hope it will play. Yeah.
I love that beginning.
So it's really amazing how much women have been empowered in the United Arab Emirates, and how wonderful the process that is taking place in empowering them, which leads us to our 11th sustainable goal. And I think, Eman, you're going to be helping me with this one, right? Or is it Heba?
I think it's Heba.
Well,
me, yeah, it's me. Gender equality.
It's okay. It's okay. You got carried away with what you're looking at. I'm happy you are enjoying it.
Yeah, because I was in this ballerina's lady with our traditional dress. I am so touched with this way of taking photo shots, showing our culture, but that can be implemented with the modern life. Can Correct. Be you are sending a very strong message, which says that you can wear kandura, you can wear your traditional dress, you can show your culture, and you can move on in the whatever you want to do.
Yeah, it doesn't stop you.
Yeah, nothing. Don't say the kandura will stop you or your culture. The main thing, your culture can stop you. No, it will give you the power to move. This is the woman empowerment. Our culture give us the power to move.
Very
our
true.
Cultures, give the wisdom to our government to give the power to the ladies from the Emirati lady, to find the ministers from the UAE. You can find ambassadors from the UAE. Her Excellency Lana Zaki Nusayba, she is the first permanent member in the UN. And it can't be, I think you can't find those women in other countries. Maybe the others they might take 10 years, maybe. But we are so, so developed in women empowerment. I think, in my opinion, that we can just give our experience to other countries, give them how we empower the woman and keep the culture. It's very important thing. It's not something that you can give your cultures to be empowerment or to be like a developed person. You can keep your own culture, your own dress, your own burger, even burger. I remember when I was in the university in Al Ain, the ladies from Al Ain, Doctora, they wear burger.
Definitely.
Yeah, more than the other emirs. They were put the Swarovski on it, the sauce. They put it in the burger.
And we have examples. We have examples in the collection. Very true.
Yeah, and they put it in a very nice way, and I think it makes us more unique. It shows the eye. one of the Greek ladies, to be honest, she's not only one. Mostly the Greek ladies, they're interested in the burqa, and they a lot about the burqa, why it's for, and why did you make it? To be honest, it's not to cover the face. I think it's make the face more beautiful. This is what I mean. This is what I think. It's my personal opinion, because who's wearing burqa, I think his eyes is appearing, the Arabic eyes, and it will be show the power of the woman.
Yes, it can be used as a medium to enhance and show the features that are more beautiful in a woman. It can be used as a tool for that. Unfortunately, the burqa is something that requires a whole series of webinars in order to talk about it and to analyze it, because it can be used. It's like a sword. It can be used from both edges. It can be taken as a tool of submission and a tool of unempowerment. And it can also be taken as a tool for protection from the element, enhancing certain elements of beauty and so on. So you can read a lot into it. And especially at this moment of time, when the whole world is putting a burqa on them, you like it or not, we are all wearing it. So it's very ironic that the whole world is beginning to use something that many people criticize when women wear it or wore it from this area of the world. I don't want to delay, because I know they will push us to finish very fast, and I want us to go into this point. So maybe you can explain it to our audience, Eman, please.
According to the President decree announced in 2018, 50 of the Federal National Council elected members should be women in the UAE, and 25 of the cabinet level minister role in the UAE are held by women. Women are up to 20% the diplomats corps, and they have a lot of positions in the UAE. Further, our Economic Forum 2020 Global Gender Gap report states that the UAE is one of the region best performing countries, having closed the gender gap by 66%, which is a very huge amount. Nobody can imagine that. I think it's the UAE has passed a lot of ways to give the woman the power, how to implement the woman in many fields, the economic fields, the political fields, the cultural fields. Whatever she can be good on it, she can do it. This is what our leadership give us the point, and they support us. And I'm insisting on supporting, because I face a lot of women, not only in Greece, in many countries, who's saying by word, you have a very good government. That's what makes you here. That's what puts you in this level. It's not, okay, you have a good family, you have a good position, good education, but you have to have a very good government which supports you.
Yes, that's very true. And to take it on a very basic level, and to take it to illustrate the point that you are making, I would like us to go to the next slide, whereby we have an example of how one can sustain cultural heritage by empowering those who work in it. As you see here, this is a collaboration that we have done through the Zay Initiative, whereby we worked with an international designer who was creating all the dress formats and costumes for a presentation that took place last year during the UAE National Day. And we had over 400, 500 women dressed in this national dress, and it was based on the Zay Initiative's collection. And we worked with them in order to empower the craftswomen that are working in this field and to allow them to excel and produce their work, and at the same time to sustain this heritage, to show it on stage, to represent it as a form of identity, as a form of sustainable culture, and so on and so forth. And if we go to the next slide, I will show you another example where you, Eman, have worked in this as well. And I'm going to let you describe this.
Yes, this was a meeting. This is not a meeting. It's a cultural exhibition. We held the cultural exhibition last November, and the leader, the president of the UNESCO here in Greece, she participated on this one, and she was amazed about the cultural that she discovered. We have many common things in our culture, the Greek culture and the UAE culture. As an example, you can see they were looking for the mahaffa.
Yes,
and
the fan.
The fan, and they have it in their culture. Also, they ask about the perfumes. They were they love the perfumes from the UAE and how we do it. There was a burger, and she was insist on knowing the burger because it's not something common. And she's the president of the UNESCO, and she was asking a lot about the burger, the paints, and how there was a paint in our background. It's about the woman empowerment and education mainly. And
yes.
Those are very old paints. It's not a new ones. For Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan, since the beginning of the unity of the Emirates, not from
yes.
and it's like in white and black. And
yes.
she was really shocked, and she was amazed about how the UAE in next year we will complete our 15 years of the Emirati unit, and it's like a short time. If you compare it with other countries, it's very short time to have those kind of achievements in the women empowerment field and sustainable fields and many other fields.
Yes, go ahead, please, go ahead.
Also, she was asking about there was the designs for Maria, and it was
the necklace.
The necklace. And what she was asking about, is it pure gold? Yeah. And I told her, this is our luxury things. It has to be in each Emirati house, and it's pure gold. It can't be a fake. It has to be gold. And she was amazed, really amazed.
Amazing work, wonderful, really wonderful. And if we go to the next slide, you will see that again, through the Zay Initiative, and I keep comparing the two elements because it shows how aligned these goals are with the objectives that we have. And Heba, I know you attended many of these programs that I did. You were a very wonderful, wonderful student that we spent almost a year working, and you came to many of the functions that we had done. Do you remember?
Yes, I really remember how was impressive the sessions that I attended that added additional value to the cultural affairs that I attend as events. And I remembered that how many lecturers that attend that events, and I became really attached to the culture because of you. This is
Thank you.
I wasn't really interested in such things before I attend your cultural sessions that I attended in Emirates Palace and in many other places as well. And I really appreciate all the efforts that being given by you, Doctor, personally, and also for UAE culture, how you represent the UAE culture and the heritage. And I think this will last not for our generation only. It will really play a huge role in the cultural affairs in UAE. Thank you very much, Doctor.
I think what is wonderful and what is unique is that we are living in a time where prosperity is allowing this government and this country to really empower its people. on many different levels, men and women, education, work, aspirations. Look at the way that people are learning and studying and going even to the space. The UAE is accomplishing so much, and it is very exciting and very empowering to all of us to see the accomplishments that are taking place in the UAE. Which brings me to our next slide, and I think Heba, you're going to help me with this one. And it relates to the peace, justice, and strong institutions. Would you like to take us through this, Heba?
Yes, Doctor. UAE government adopted one of the transparency system that opened the data policy in order to make government data and information accessible to the public. As per the UAE's constitution, the federal judiciary enjoys full independence and justice in the basis of its authority. Also, the UAE's commitment to the rule of law has maintained order against the violence and contributed to a sense of justice and security for the UAE nationals and the residents alike. In 2015, the UAE based the anti-discrimination law, which prohibits any form of discrimination of people. Also, the Ministry of Justice oversees the courts and the departments across the UAE. In addition, full text of the UAE's law that cover different areas concerning people and business can be found in the Ministry of Justice legislation portal. Also, one of the reasons that make our security system really very strong, that the Federal Authority for Identity and Citizenship completed the launch of electronic identity card for whole population in the country, including nationals and residents. The card carries biometric details of the holders in order to verify and confirm the identity of each individual through a personal number and a smart card related to the biological feature as well. This is aimed to protect identity and tackle the crime.
Wonderful. This is amazing, and it's quite a long list of achievements. And to take it from that high goals and aspirations, I think the integral part of this is dialogue, and dialogue among people on many levels. And we feel through the Zay Initiative, we are trying to achieve that through this webinar, for example, that we've got now with you, and the other list of webinars that we've been doing this whole past year. This is one way for us to introduce this dialogue, this cross-cultural dialogue between us and the others and the global families that we will hope to forge as we get to know each other. We also are producing it through another slide that I have, and that is the, if we can go to the next slide, Emma. I hope we have it. Yes, through our website, through the blog, through the monthly blog that we produce, through the newsletter that we produce. These are all different forms of dialogues that one can have with one another. As you said, Heba, like when you came to these lectures and these presentations or exhibitions or functions, they were all full of information, the way we are doing now. And by giving these information in various formats, you are allowing other cultures to understand you. You are dissipating any misconceptions, like the ones Eman mentioned about the black or dress or burgo or whatever it is, about these misconceptions that many people have about the culture that we live in. The presence of the Instagram itself has awarded us an amazing way to reach out to people on a daily basis, on a 24-hour basis, all around the world. People come in, look at our images, read the information, understand a little bit more about our culture, understand who we are, and have a possibility to have a dialogue. Some people like the black abaya, others they prefer a colored one. Some people think this is too much of a shela that is coming off and showing much of our hair. Others think, no, we should be working with the times. So it is wonderful to be able to have this dialogue, because only through dialogue we can learn from each other and we can make our individual perspectives closer to each other. And I really want to thank you, young ladies, for the opportunity to have this dialogue with me and to introduce your culture to our audience. And I want to commend you for the role that you are playing in representing your culture and representing your country. And I am sure anyone that is listening is very proud of this. And sadly, I have to end because I'm getting messages to say there are questions that we need to answer. Thank you so much for being here with me. And let's invite Emma to come in with the questions.
Wow, ladies, thank you so much. That really was just fascinating. I've learned so much tonight. I really do need to align further with the Sustainable Development Goals. Dr. Reem, could you just follow up a little bit regarding Sustainable Development Goal number 11 and just explain to us a little bit more about that? That would be fantastic.
Number 11, which is the
sustainable cities.
Yes, I think it is very important that this goal oversees the issues related to cities, environments, and the people that live in them. You can take it and bring it down into and use it in the format that you feel more comfortable, or it associates more to the work that you are aligned with. So if I'm talking about produce, everyday produce, we can implement it to that. If we're talking about industry and how we carry our industry and make sure that we are fulfilling the roles that are that allow for sustainable use, then we would apply it to that. As far as the Zay Initiative is concerned, we feel that it is through the implementing of programs that encourage dialogue and discussion and openness among people, as well as allow for training training to implement traditional crafts as well as traditional and heritage aspects to continue and be sustained for a future generation.
Wow. So much that needs to be done, I guess, globally, and also just in actually how much we can do on an individual level and also on a company level, I think is so important.
Definitely.
And obviously for the UAE on a country level, I think that's what's amazing, is that everyone can do so many things to all lead to try and reach this sustainable development goal. Heba, can you share with the audiences what your experience were this year in Norway with regards to the pandemic?
According to your knowledge, that the European situation was a bit worse than the other countries when it started. And for us here in Norway, within 2 weeks, we reached 8,000 cases in Norway, which make the whole government an emergency situation where they close the borders, and I have to to send all of our nationals back home, contact everybody to be back to UAE. And I've been the last one in that time here in Norway alone.
Oh, wow.
And I remember exactly the last flight for Emirates in 28th of March for a quite long time. That time I remember the main concern that was in my head to just send everybody home, be sure that everybody is safe. And the last thing, that I am here alone, it's okay. I took the responsibility, my duties as a diplomat representing my country in the embassy in Norway alone. For during that situation, it was really an honor to serve my country under the crisis and within all with all of our colleagues abroad. I just would like to say that Norway and UAE take the lead defeating that pandemic and playing a fantastic role internationally and shows their commitment to the international cooperation was shown either by humanitarian assistance to the countries and the people in need, and sending the health equipment to other countries. And
Wonderful.
Just fantastic. And Eman, have you got similar experiences or different experience you can share with us from Greece?
For me, as a diplomat in Greece, on the second wave, I go back to the Emirates, and I came back alone in July to Greece to be alone in the embassy. And it was quite difficult for me because the first wave was very easy in Greece, but currently the second wave is very tough and very hard. We have a lot of cases. And we are on lockdown since 3 weeks, totally locked down. Nobody can move out without a paper, without anything. Maybe my experience is a little bit different and difficult because I'm a mother for 4 kids. I said in my previous meeting. And with the online classes, I have a very
Tough time.
I can't say it's bad, but it's really tough. Because it's not easy to manage a kids in school and to be alone in an embassy and to be a chargé d'affaires to control everything. But it's really a very good experience because in the tough time, you know the person, and it's my job. I have to do it appropriate or I have to leave it. So
women are multitaskers, and
Yes.
I think it's amazing that we have that skill, that you can multitask on many levels at the same time. And I love the factor that you young women or this generation are managing to juggle taking care of your children, providing for your families, acting on your duties, and implying all of this. And still you can look beautiful and wear a lovely dress and very presentable. So I really commend you both for all of the work.
Thank you very much, Dora. Thank you. You are really, so I think this, I want to say something for the Zay. It's really excellent project. I would participate in anything related to Zay because it's, I would appreciate anyone who's representing my culture. It's a very important thing. It's something I didn't expect because it's my first post to be in Greece, to be honest. And from this post, I discovered that as a diplomat, I'm not for the UAE. I have to tell the world about the UAE. This is what I am. And Zay is doing the best from the UAE, showing the world what is the United Arab Emirates. Thank you very much, Dora, and the team.
No, thank you. I'm so proud to meet you guys, both of you, and to have this session with you. And I'm sure we're going to have many more in future. And you have the Zay at your fingertips. You can always go to the website and use it as many times as you like and introduce your individuals that you meet over there to it so that they would have the information that they need about this culture.
Doctor, I would like also to add my thankful and really appreciation to you and Zay Initiative. We need such initiative to be also abroad, either in Greece or in Norway. And you are more than welcome to hold a session where just pick the authority that I would like to have a cooperation with in Norway. I just would like to assure that we have a very good connection here and reliable institution, either heritage or cultural affairs institutions. And
Wonderful.
we are looking for such initiatives, Doctor.
Wonderful. I look forward to coming to both Athens and Norway. And I would love to have a few exhibitions that we can work jointly together, collaboratively, in order to represent the culture of the UAE and the Arab world as a whole.
Inshallah.
Dr. Reem, as ever, you answered one of the questions that has just come up from the audience. When is going to be the first live exhibition following the pandemic? I know every country is different at the moment. Dubai, well, the UAE hosted GITEX just last week as a live event, which was fantastic, and shows the UAE really pushing forward. But I know it's very different everywhere. But Dr. Reem, has the Zay Initiative got any plans for any live events in the near future?
We are working on a number of things. We've got them on the burner. Nothing has materialized so far because we have to work with the times. So we're hoping by 2021, the whole world will be able to open up. We are looking forward to Expo, which is taking place in Dubai soon. And we hope that we would have some form of a participation through that. And now we've got our ambassadors in all these countries that we have met all these past few months. And they are amazing women. And I'm sure if we put our brains together, we can accomplish something beautiful and have it carry on from one place to the other.
Exactly. Well, all it leaves for me to say is thank you both Eman and Heba from joining us from Greece and Norway respectively. Just a fabulous session highlighting the importance of sustainable development. I've learned so much, so I'm sure the audience also have. Thank you also for a massive thank you to the Office of Public and Cultural Diplomacy at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Abu Dhabi, and particularly Gabriella and Elham, who have been absolutely fabulous running the 4 events with us over the last couple of months. So
yes, thank you, Emma,
so
for
much.
mentioning that and for giving them a shout out. And I appreciate all their work and, behind the scenes. These are the people who really make this sort of project succeed. Thank you so much. And I look forward to further collaboration in the coming year. I wish you both and our audience a wonderful, wonderful end of year. Everyone, please stay safe. And look forward to meeting you in person in the near future. Take care.
Perfect. And Dr. Reem and I will be back tomorrow night with our final session of 2020 with Waleed Shah Moujoud. I am here, yes. I exist. The full details will be found at www.thezay.org/events. It's 2 hours earlier, so 2 p.m. in London, 6 p.m. UAE. Thank you so much, and thank you, everyone. Good night.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.